I can want it all I want, but I can't just turn that flip on when I get in front of the lights. So
Well, hey, it's 1 o'clock and I see Paulette's here and we got to, maybe she's a real person, maybe not. I know we're just gearing up for mastery. We might get a
I'm
few
real.
people on.
yeah,
Paulette,
Tell him,
that,
Kelly. We've done. I've talked on here.
yeah, we'll get all the computerized note people coming on. And then, hey, listen, we'll make this as valuable. Kelly, I know you are one of our coaches and helpers, or however you want to say it, assistant coaches. However, you get to be a participant today too, because let's use the time wisely. I get better when I help others. And I do have a thought I'm going to share with you in here just a second. Let me turn this on. I always forget to do that. So Paulette, where are you?
Oh, hold on. Where am I? I'm in Pennsylvania.
Okay. Now you don't have to. If you're not in the right spot, whatever, but if you can, we've got a small group. You're welcome to turn the camera on. That's totally up to you.
No, I'm working at home today, so I'm not looking the best.
All right. So let me ask you something then. Do you mind if
Okay.
I meddle?
No, go ahead. It helps me grow.
I know that's a Southern term. When you have somebody who wants to meddle, they're going to be stepping into maybe your business. So if someone in this, I'm not speaking to you about today, but just the concept. I've had to develop the skill of working from home. And then I've heard over the years, many people have little hacks. For me, I'll start thinking, well, I should go rearrange the refrigerator or something. It'd be a very distraction to me. But I have met in my career people, Kelly, that have actually got dressed for work, got in their car, backed it out of the driveway, came back into the house, and then went to their spot. They may not even had a home office to mentally be prepared to work. So I'm only you might do that like 29 days a month, and today you're not doing that. I'm just suggesting if you're not as productive as you should be at home, then find a hack that works. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So I'm meddling. Sorry about that. So welcome to Mastery today. This is 2nd of January, 2026. And what we do is we work on conversations, question-based conversations. And I know Kelly was on earlier. There's some people here that have not been on. I'm going to share with you some predictions and this is being recorded to the YouTube channel. So if you haven't joined the YouTube channel, please do. I've got about 1,100 on my way to 10,000. I am going to share some predictions with you that you can take to the bank. Then I'm going to give you the thought of the day, which I did not share on Recon. Kelly gets to hear this again. So number one prediction I'm going to give you is that people have been putting their selling or buying on hold because of the holidays. Well, the quote holidays are over, but don't be surprised if buyers and sellers still want to wait for something else. It's going to happen. The holidays are over. Buyers and sellers will find another reason to wait. My second prediction is most agents won't be ready for that. We want to make you ready for that because they're going to have another reason. Now, again, if someone's waiting, typically there is some fear. How many times have you remembered as a little one or as a parent raising the little ones, they're standing next to the pool and they're a little hesitant of jumping in? I just got back from Alaska, so most likely they're not jumping in because the pool is now ice. The third prediction is enough real estate. Hear me on this. There's going to be enough real estate sold in Tampa, Kelly, and in a sliver of Tampa and Fort Myers that would give you the life you want. Mm-hmm. So real estate is going to be sold inside your area and someone's going to do it. We want you to take advantage of it. And the last one is you guys will have a better year if you commit to practice and recon on a daily, and mastery during the week is a good way to do that. So those are my predictions. Now I would like to give you the thought of the day. This is something new. Hey, Polina, nice to see you. Where's your other half?
She's coming.
I never thought you were not in the same place at the same time. So here's my thought of the day. Tell me what you think about this. So I'm having a conversation with chat. I love to do that when I'm walking. And so We came up with 3 points. Here's the second point I'm going to share with you today. Objections are not problems. They are signs of attachment. A lot of times agents want to work through a presentation and they feel an objection is a negative thing. It is not negative. It is a sign of attachment. In fact, if you give a presentation and you don't have objections, there's a pretty good chance that they're not even interested. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yes.
So what I want you to kind of internalize, take some notes if you need to, because we came up with some sub-bullet points, is that objections mean the buyer is imagining owning that property or home. They're going through the mental gymnastics of move or not move. What about how I'm going to fit? What are people going to think? Or they're going through all of that. Secondly, they're negotiating internally. Is this something should I make the investment now? Is this something I can really afford? Is there something better out there? And they're going to find objections. Remember, if there is no objections, the opposite of love is not hate. What is it? Indifference. And the last thing is they are seeking permission from themselves to proceed. So those are some great points I think people need to understand. And we always talk about objections. We've been doing it for a long time. I'm preaching to the choir with you guys. But if you're new to this, I want you to think and write down, if you want to put it in simple Florida Denny ease, it would be objections are your friend. So that's my thought of today. So where do we want to get better, guys? I'm all yours.
I like what you were doing. I like what you were doing this morning, Denny. I think that might get some juices flowing for some other things.
Well, Polina, you were on today. Do you want to try it again?
Sure.
So what we were talking about is you're on a presentation. We talked about people wanting to wait. And this is what the buyer or seller says. And you know, get ready. There's going to be a lot of talk about predictions. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to do some studying on your own market so you can find 3 things. I want you to understand what is the year over year, because we've basically ended 25. What's 25 business compared to 24 business? That's year over year. Homes, condos, whatever you do, you can typically, I don't clump those 2. I take homes and condos. If you only want to take one, unless you specialize in condos, take homes. That will give you a thermometer of what's going on. Then you also want to go year over year on basically your median sales price, not average sales price, median sales price. Then the other thing I want you to do, and you can figure out the inventory. You can add up the number of listings if you want to in 24, add up the number of new listings in 25, and look at the change in inventory. Those are 3 key indicators. So we're sitting at the table. Polina, let's get a little deja vu. We're sitting at the table. And this is what I say to you. And all right, so you come over. Hey, listen, we're thinking about selling, Polina. You're recommended, so we're going to start with you and have a conversation. But before we get moving, I'm a little bit confused of what's going to happen. I've seen all these things on the media, and they all have their own opinion of what's going on in the market. I want a local expert's opinion. What's going on? What's your take on 2026, Polina?
Well, Denny, thank you so much for meeting with me today. I want to say that I don't make predictions, but I know that buyers that do buy and sellers that do sell, they're happy that they did. So what is it that is prompting you to sell today?
Okay. Now, almost word for word. Now, we spent 30 minutes on this today, and people were going him and hawing, afraid to like bite into the apple, because here's why I thought about this. When people ask you about a prediction, you're not really comfortable talking about it. One is you've been on the calls long enough to know that we don't make predictions. But the other thing is this. You're answering a question you don't know the answer to. So answer the question in a way that you will know that you're right. And there's a lot of ways to do that. And so what she did is I don't make predictions about the future. However, I can tell you from my experience that thousands of people will buy and sell homes over the next year, and they'll be glad they did. You're going to find out if you want to be one of those. What would have to happen for you to be one of those? That's one way. Can you think of another way? I'm going to put you on the spot, Polina, and anybody else. Hey, Jose, can you answer it a different way? There's a lot of ways to answer it. Answer the question in a format that you know the answer to. Somebody want to try? Go ahead.
This.
You broke up, babe.
Do you need to sell or do you?
Try it now.
Then do you need to sell or do you have to sell?
Okay, now you're asking a question, but I want you to answer their question. This is how you get off the hook. That's a great question, but now this is probably the first time on Mastery you've ever heard me say answer the question.
I guess I want to answer by saying the best time to sell is when you don't have to sell. So you're not pressured to sell. So is that the time for you?
Okay. That's the truism. Anyone come up with another one? I'm not saying that wouldn't work, but it's true. So in Florida, we have hurricanes. Let's talk about the weather a moment. If somebody asks you to say, all right, there used to be something, you young whippersnappers don't even remember the Farmer's Almanac. That was Google 100 years ago. And the Farmer's Almanac would tell you what to expect. If someone, all right, so I'm going to go to Polina. Polina's in Denver, and people don't care about weather except unless it snows. So what do you think the ski season is going to be like in 2026, Polina?
It's from my personal experience and going up to the mountains. It's great.
Okay. Would that be the same as saying, I think the real estate market is going to be great?
What do you mean?
Well, you're making a prediction about the future by stating a fact. So I'll state a fact in which you know the answer to. So when I say, I don't make predictions, but I can tell you thousands of people in Southwest Florida are going to be buying and selling. Number one, is that true? And
yes,
they're going to be happy about it. Is that true? Now, when you say that it's going to be great, skiing is going to be great, and I'm saying the market's going to be great, would that not depend on someone's vantage point? So how can you answer the question, how do you think your favorite team is going to do this next year? You like baseball. I mean, football's almost over for me, but when you think about how's your team going to do? How can you answer the question and be right without making a prediction? This is an example of how you do it. Can you think of another way?
I wasn't present this morning, but I think my take just from hearing what I've heard so far is it's situational, right? It depends what you're hoping to do with the market.
Okay, so all right, so Jose, you're new, so you got fresh ears and fresh eyes. This was what we worked on today. You're sitting at the table with a buyer or seller, and they say, hey, listen, I don't know what's going to happen in 2026. I want to get your opinion. You're a local expert. What do you think is going to happen in 2026?
Well, listen, there's home selling and there's buyers buying, right? Now tell me a little bit more of what you're hoping to accomplish when you ask that question about the market.
Now you guys, I mean, not everyone here, but that's how most people started. They turned it around right away. And that's what you're doing. But have you really answered my question? I'm asking a legitimate question. What do you think is going to happen in 2026?
Sellers will sell and buyers will buy.
Well, that's about as short as you can get. And is that right? That's pretty right.
Yeah, but let's step back and I'm being fresh to it. Like you said, going to the doctor, said my left knee hurts, doctor. Give me some medicine.
Okay.
Could you ask, well, just to kind of turn it around, well, can you dive into a little bit more about what you're hearing so I can help explain what I'm thinking?
Well, okay. First of all right. So a couple people did that today. Let me ask you this, and we don't have to spend a lot of time here, but I think this is a good conversation. Does it matter what they're hearing?
It could matter what they're hearing.
Okay, let's say they're hearing it's the market's going to go buy one get one free. What is that? How does that change your answer?
Are you willing to wait until the market becomes buy one, get one free?
But have you answered their question yet? What do you think is going to happen? That's what I want you to not be afraid of. Don't be afraid to answer their question. This is just an example of how an answer I came up with, but I had another one today. I was thinking about it. I had several others in my mind. Right now, they're not coming to my mind. But the issue is going to be, all right, here's one. How about this? Maybe you like it better. Well, it's been I don't make predictions about the future, but I think I'm safe by saying this. There's going to be people who win in this market and those that don't. So do you want to have a discussion how you can win?
How?
How does that answer
Okay,
the
well,
question, Coach?
did I answer the question?
I don't, in my ears, it's not answered.
Okay, so let me all right, let me back up then. All right, so when you asked me that question, okay, so how would you like me to answer? I'm in role play. How would you like me to answer that, Jose?
Give me your honest take on the market.
Give me what?
Your professional take on the market.
All right, my professional take on the market is there's going to be people that really capitalize on the market and those that probably make mistakes in the market. That's been my experience. It happens every year.
I like that better.
It's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
This one resonates more because you get into it, where the other one is just no different than like, tell me what you're hoping to accomplish with the market.
So are you hoping for a question to follow your statement when you said that? So you said, we got winners and we got losers. That's what we have. And then I think I would reply if I were sitting on the other side of that as the role play partner. Well, explain to me, what does that mean?
I would love that. I mean, all right, now wait a minute. If you have a seller or a buyer, it gives you that. Explain to me what you mean by that. Doesn't that open the door for you to have a conversation? Well, it depends on the situation. Tell me your situation. Let's see if this is a good time for you. Now, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Here's what I want you to think about. I know we've had a little discussion, but let's go back to the first time you heard the question. What do you think they want you to say?
It's super bad or it's super good.
You're in great hands.
Well, let me say this. What if you said it's going to be, and this is some of the people this morning role played, well, it's going to be great. Like Polina just said, skiing is going to be great. Well, okay. Is that 100% right?
No.
What if I say it's going to suck?
No.
So going back to how is the skiing going to be in 2026? You would answer that by saying, well, I don't make predictions about the future, but historically, we have probably the best skiing in the Rockies. So based on those trends, and you like fresh snow, probably pretty good.
Yeah, and this is where it's important, where you said earlier, be the economist of choice, right? Like, I don't make predictions about the future, but here's some trends if you'd like to know about it.
Yes, you can do that. So here's the underlying thing. This morning, people were afraid of the question. because for a couple of reasons. One is I don't think they were ready for it. Secondly, we've programmed you guys to always ask questions, but sometimes they're going to ask you a question that I want you to go ahead and answer it.
Yeah.
Well, I found in every market there's winners and losers, and it really depends on how you play your cards. Would you like to become a winner in this market? I specialize in helping people win in any market. Would you like to have that discussion? I mean, I think that would lead into something. If you think they want you to say, what's the price going to do? What's going to happen with the days on the market? Is it going to go from a buyer's market? Is the market going to crash? Let me ask you that. Who wants to take that? I'm going to ask you now. I've heard the market's going to crash. Polina, do you think the market's going to crash?
Well, Denny, what do you think would have to happen in order for the market to crash?
Great question. Or what's another great qualifying question there? What do you mean by crash?
Mm.
Well, all right. So what do you mean by, I don't know. They're saying that the prices are going to go down 50%. Stay and roll, Polina.
I guess my question again, what would have to happen in order for prices to discount 50%?
Oh, they're saying that all these houses are upside down and all these people are going to be putting the houses on the market. I mean, it's kind of a scorched earth mentality. Okay, keep going.
And when you said they're all saying, who's saying that?
All these YouTubers.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a relevant. That's a good question, but again, at some point in time, you're going to have to address my concern. How are you going to do it?
Mm-hmm. Well, Denny, even I don't know, I don't predict the future, but if the market does crashes and properties go with 50% discount, what is that going to do to your plans?
Okay. You can almost say, well, all right. In my market in Florida, I'm Florida, Kelly's Florida. They have a prediction that comes out every year how many hurricanes we're going to have and how severe the hurricanes are going to be. That's the hurricane forecast. Everybody waits for that. And someone's saying we're going to have a Category 5 hurricane next November. That is the equivalent of the market's going to crash.
Mm-hmm.
So if the weatherman or person is on TV saying, hey, I'm predicting a Category 5 storm in November, what would you think? How would you combat that?
Tell me how you know it's going to happen in November.
Now, I'm going to take you on the familiar road right now, guys. All right, so Polina, I'm going to go back to you. You're saying that, all right, well, you may be right. I don't make predictions, but let me ask you, what if it doesn't?
Mm-hmm.
See, if they can make all the predictions they want, but we don't, unless it's going to be safe. I mean, the classic one is a line out of Rudy. Rudy is talking to the priest in the church. He's he's wrestling about going to Notre Dame. Anybody watch Rudy? You young people never watch Rudy. Everyone must watch Rudy. Then you're going to cry. I cry every time I watch it. Anyway, the guy's talking to the priest, and the priest finally gives us some advice. He said, listen, I know two things for sure in life. Number one, there is a God, and I'm not him. Who remembers that line? So we can move on. But again, I don't want you to be balled up. Let them make the predictions. And you know what? You cannot argue with them about a prediction. Why? One of the craziest things I think in life is that people are arguing over a future outcome. Like what? We can't even agree on past outcomes. So, all right, let's go into whatever you want.
Denny, what if I respond with, I think this year, closer to the end, the interest rates will go down. That's when I'm going to put my home on the market.
All right, can you be that person? Who wants to role play them?
Yes.
Let's go. Who wants to role play that? Jose, come on, you're on. Let's go.
I didn't hear what the scenario was.
Because I think we're going to put the home on the market closer to the end of the year when interest rates will go down.
Okay. What time are you thinking end of the year? What does that look like?
Maybe September.
Okay. And you said because of rates, is that right, Paulina?
Yes.
Okay. And what information do you have that tells you that rates are going to be lower in September?
I mean, that's what Fed is saying. Closer to the end of the year, interest rates will go down and I'll have more buyers going through
Got
my
it.
door.
So you're equating lower rates to more buyers, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Remind me again, where are you going when this house does sell?
I just want to downsize.
Okay. And how soon do you want to downsize?
I'm not in a rush.
Okay. Not in a rush, meaning it's a possibility to stay here and not downsize?
Yeah,
Okay. Interesting. Now, can I be brutally honest with you?
Stop.
I-
Never. Never.
Can I ask you a difficult question?
yes.
What if the rates don't lower as the Feds predict?
I'll wait until next year,
I don't
but I'm
have,
pretty sure they will come down.
okay.
I mean, they have to.
And what is important about the rates lowering and having more buyers for you, Paulina?
So more buyers comes through my door.
Do you need to sell this in order to buy?
No,
I don't have anything else to come back. I hit a wall.
All right, phone a friend. Pick somebody else.
Come on, Kelly, step right up.
So I'll go back to Polino. So what happens if the rates don't go down, Polina?
I'll just keep the home.
You'll just keep the home.
hmm
Um, so what specifically would you need to know to feel more about your decision in selling?
Interest rates going down.
All right, other than interest rates, is there anything else?
I just need more buyers through my door. And I think interest rates will help us that.
And what if I could guarantee you that buyers could come in the door if you were willing to maybe look at some other possibilities
I'm not giving my
other
home
than
away.
interest rates?
If you mean price, I'm not giving my home away.
Okay, I understand that. I wouldn't give my home away either. Um, what price were you hoping to get on your home?
600.
600. And is that a drop dead price for you?
Yes, I need to net 600. I
You
need to
need a
sell it for
net,
600.
you need a
Still,
net, you need to sell for 600.
yes,
And if that doesn't happen,
I'll
when you
keep the
put it
home.
on the market and that doesn't happen, what next?
Oh, it will happen if interest rates go down. My
No,
price of the home will go up.
There's a question that's being begged to be asked. So let me just pop in here. Lena, what are interest rates now?
6. I don't know, you tell me.
They're about 6.5. And so when you say they're going to go down, what are they going to go down to?
Well, maybe 5, even 5.5 will make a difference.
Okay, so, and if they do go down to 5.5, what happens with the sale of your home?
The price will go up.
Go up to what?
Well, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see when we cross that bridge when interest rates go down.
So what if they go down to 5.5 and you still can't get 600, then what?
I'm pretty sure I will be able to get 600 because more people will be affordable for homes.
Maybe, but there may be something you haven't thought about. You know what that is?
What would that be?
Do you think you're the only person in Denver right now that is not putting their home on the market now because they want interest rates to go down so they can have more buyers go through the door?
Maybe, but I still can't sell my home for under 600. It has to be 600 or above.
Okay, so what you're saying is you will stay there forever unless you get 600,
Yes.
even if you have to pay more money for your house you're downsizing to.
Yes, because interest rates will be lower, so my monthly payment will be lower.
All right, so now here is it. Now, all right, so we've all tried different ways to crack the nut, and I mean nut like literal nut. And you can't fix crazy.
Yeah, at some point you have to say this is someone in my store that is looking but not buying. They're not picking up anything off the shelf. They're not coming to the cash register, and we tried our hardest to provide service.
The thing, we have a very intimate group, and so I want everyone to be able to participate today. What you're seeing, like with Kelly, Polina, Jose, of course, Al's client one. What you're seeing is a display of the power of questions. They didn't start out this way, but they're asking a series of questions. They're attempting to figure out, help them see, because when you ask a question, they think, and their inner voice is stronger than our outer voice. So great job, you guys, in asking questions. The one thing I do want you to remember is this, is that, and again, I could have asked some more questions. You could have asked some more questions. However, when you get into a interest rate scenario, when you get into a number scenario, what's the saying I always say about the airlines? On vacation, you can fly any airline you want, but when it comes to working with numbers, you've got to fly what? Say it,
Delta.
Polina. What is it?
Delta.
Delta. That's why I wanted to find out what she really expects her interest rates to fall to. Now, if you think basically that you can turn water into wine like Jesus, well, that's great for you. Then you should probably open up a Total Wine then. But short of that, they just may not be super motivated. So would there have been anything to change your mind, Polina? Or are you just going to be obstinate?
I put it in the chat. I was wondering, what if we asked, how long am I able to hold on to the property till it is necessary to sell? I don't know if I ask that question, which route would I go then?
Well, we didn't really dig into the fact you wanted to downsize. We didn't do that. So if we would have found out and asked a question, well, why are you downsizing? And you would have said, well, it's financially, it's too much for me to maintain. My roommate moved out, or I'm a single parent, I'm single now, whatever. Then yes, now okay. Then if we could have found out that she's bleeding cash, that would have been a great question. That would have been a decent line to go down.
Because I had that conversation yesterday, and they were waiting for interest rates to go down, but they were 80 years old, and they said they can't take care of the home anymore. So then I didn't know which route to go.
Well, you bring up a pretty good point, and we all have what's it called, confirmation bias. You see, maybe it's me being in Florida. There's a lot of people who want to downsize for just that reason. When their kids moved out, they're older, they can't take care of it. And my mind automatically went to the fact it's just too much house. Not that they couldn't afford it, they just didn't want the physical energy to maintain it. And that confirmation bias locked me into asking the right question about why did you want to downsize? So that's kind of a V8 moment for me.
Yeah.
So, Sherry, Michelle, anybody else? Greg, what happened to, where's our other little buddy there? Oh, where'd he go? Milani, let's go. We have got some time. What do you want to work on?
Can you repeat what your 3 indicators were that you are looking for with your market study year over year?
Yeah. The three numbers you want to track, you guys, I found the media tracks 2 of the 3. One is the change in the number of sales. And they use year over year. It's the end of the year. So just look at total sales 24, total sales 25. That will tell you something. The other is the change in the median sales price. And when you do this, make sure you're not putting all your market segments in together, like condos, whatever. Try to do homes or condos, or if you happen to do a specific area of town, a certain product, do that. The media reports on those all the time. The third one is the change in inventory. So look at how many homes came on the market. And theoretically, I mean, you could add up all your new listings for 24 and all your new listings for 25 and find out what that delta is, the difference. But you're better off if you want to find what the trend in inventory is, that you would maybe look at it maybe the last quarter of 24 to the last quarter of 25, or even December of 24 to December of 25. Why would you want to do that and not use the whole year?
Well, it's more immediate, right? When you get change over time from 30 days, 7 days, 30 days, whatever, 45 days, it shows momentum in a more immediate impact, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, so what you want to do is the longer time you spread it over, it smooths out any kind of a change, and it would smooth out the trend. What you want to do is spot the trend, and the change in the inventory is really where the market's moving.
So I put in the chat, Denny, I don't know if you see it there or not, but like a monthly market detail from Hillsborough County.
Yeah.
In 2025. So is this something you're saying, even this may be a good just to show like a trend, but it may also be good to get into the MLS to look at what happened over the last 7 days or last 15 days?
Yeah, this is from our state association. I've used them quite a bit. Yeah. So that's a cheap thing. And your MLS probably creates it for you if you just go into the right format, go to the right tab. You should know, see what is in the chat there, closed sales. If you happen to have a farm area, an area of specialty, you would want to look at your area, and most likely the state or even the MLS is not going to do that automatically. So you want to know what's going on in your market area. Like Denver, that's ridiculous. I don't even know how many MLSs or boards of realtors you have in Denver. Obviously in our area in Fort Myers, we only have about 800,000 people in Lee County. And we have one MLS. We used to have 6. Now we have 1, but there's so many submarkets that what happens in a luxury condo is not what's happening in a $300,000 villa. So you should know that. I do a lot. If you want to take us one of these mastery classes, I'll walk you through. I'll show you really fast. I don't want to bore you. I'm not a like mathematician. I'm not a C. I'm not a high C. But I have learned. This is a booklet, a speech I give every year. Here's the booklet that I I put together, there's 20 some pages of this that are my data. And what I look at, and I'm already getting ready to talk about the trends for 2026. So if you want to take a section of maybe next Friday or whatever, where you can kind of model that in your market, there was nobody in our market doing this. And the media loves people to call, because when there's a national article, they have to. I mean, it's generally report, I don't know if it's Associated Press or AP, they call it, format where media has to get local sources. And you could become that local source. I mean, I was on the news for 10 years and I still do a lot. I'm coming out in an article in Sunday's paper, I think, on the top sales for 2025. If you want to work your way in so the media calls you, it really helped me build brand recognition in Southwest Florida, because when people read your name in the paper now, you're the perceived expert. So you have to let me know if you want to do that. I give a speech. I've been doing it for 25 years. There's 1,000 or 1,200, 1,300 people there. They all pay to come, like $80. And I give them this information and the trend analysis of where the market's going. But then you might find that boring. So let's have some conversations. Who's ready for an objection? I've got one.
Denny, can we role play this time of the year when sellers came off the market and they want to relist with the same agent?
So you're saying that you want to be a seller, like an expired or something that's going to list with the same agent?
Yes.
Okay, so you're the agent?
Can I be the seller?
Sure. So let's get to that point. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
So I called you and you say you're going to stay with the same agent.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, that may be great. So before I let you go, can I ask you a couple quick questions?
Yes.
When did you make that decision to stay with the same agent?
Well, because we need to sell the home. There's nothing wrong the agent did. It just the market was bad.
Okay, you told me why, but I said, when did you make that decision?
When it came off the market,
So
the day it came off.
You knew it was going to expire, right?
Yes.
So I have found that many people in that position do it out of expedient, meaning you don't really know anyone else to choose from. Does that weigh into your decision at all? It's just easier to go with what you know than to hire someone new.
Maybe part of it, yeah.
So I guess then here's the thing that's going through my mind. That might be the right decision for you. However, if you went to a doctor for the last 6 months and you weren't getting better, would you want to at least talk to another doctor to get an opinion?
But this doctor, I trust this agent. We've worked with her in the past. I mean, she has been great. It's just on this property, the market has been bad. That's why.
I got that. And you know what? I totally respect that, but here's my thing. Here's my point. You can still work with your other agent, but would you like to have information from a fresh perspective?
I guess, but I mean, I can't have conversations with 30 agents, right?
No, but what if you could have conversations with somebody that would give you a frame of reference, wouldn't it? Would it be worth a 15-minute conversation?
I guess I'll have to speak to my husband and see what he says if he wants to spend his time doing that.
Okay, well, let me ask you, do you think it'd be worth a 15-minute conversation?
I do.
So would you mind having a sample of what that conversation could sound like?
What do you mean?
Well, a lot of agents want to try to close for the appointment. I don't know. You might be making the right decision to go back to the other agent. However, I would just like to give you some help and have a quick conversation with you on questions you should be asking yourselves before you go ahead and try some of the same treatment, because you say the market's bad. Well, I don't know if you know, but in the Tanglewood area, 15 homes have sold and yours didn't. I would be a little concerned about that. So would you like to have a 6 or 7 minute conversation right now with me on the phone about questions you might want to ask yourselves?
Sure.
That's how I would go. I don't do this for a living. So, I don't make calls like that for a living, but if I were sitting across from someone, it's no different than being on the phone. That's what I would do. When I've got an unwilling participant on the other end, and this is kind of a Mattism too, that I learned from Matt. I'm not sure that I want to drive, and you're in a metro area. It may take me 45 minutes or 50 minutes to get to your place, and it'd be a waste of time. I want to try to score some points when I've got you. Now, notice she said get her husband. A lot of people said, okay, we'll get him. I've got you. This may be the only time I get you on the phone. I'm going to say, well, here's some things that I would probably consider. So there's a lot of, again, let's say you did. All right, now let's say, well, I'll give you 5 minutes. So do you think maybe she's listening to me? She's going to give me 5 minutes. Or if she's a high D, I said, okay, I tell you what, I know time's important to you. I'm going to set my phone on 5 minutes and the alarm will go off. Fair enough? And
Yes.
if we go 1 second beyond that, that's because you want to. Maybe I only get 3 minutes. So my point is, does that approach appeal to anybody there?
Does. I like how you said you can go with that same agent, but would you like to talk to one more agent to see if that is the right decision you're making?
Right, or it can be like, okay, so I have found, let me just be general on this. You've heard me say this before on our role plays. I talked about the 5 mindsets of a buyer or seller. Sometimes if you can get them leaning towards, here's my point. If I can get you leaning towards getting an opinion from someone else, I'm winning. That's easier to do than saying, hey, listen, hire me, hire me, hire me, hire me. I'm saying you should talk. You should get some more information from someone. Oh, by the way, I'm on the phone. You asked me, I don't want to talk to 30 people. Well, how about right now? So
What questions
I always play it down the middle. However, I make sure the road I'm on drives into me.
Denny, what questions would you ask to see if it's even worth meeting with this person?
Fair. All right. So is everybody else grooving on this? Is this benefiting everybody? All right. So here's where I go. All right. So I've got 5 minutes. Let's say I got 3 minutes. So I'm literally going to do it. Timer. 3 minutes. Go. All right. All right. 3 minutes now. Okay. So are all questions okay?
Yes.
Okay. The agent you trust, do you have a personal relationship with that person?
I've used them before.
But they're not family. They're not your golf pro's brother-in-law.
No.
How long ago did you use them before?
5 years ago, when we bought our first home.
Great. And so, your house was on for 120 days. It didn't sell. May I ask, did the other agent tell you why it didn't sell?
Yeah, they just told us to lower the price because market was bad. But I think listing it in the spring will have more buyers through the door.
That's what you think. Did they tell you that, or is that what you think?
They told me that.
So, all right. So, now again, I'm thinking off the top of my head. I'm halfway through. When you sell, where are you going?
Florida.
Is there any particular advantage of you being there sooner versus later?
I promised my kids I would take them to Disney every summer, so we need to go to Florida.
What is the agent you used before going to do differently than they did in the last 120 days?
Nothing, but the market will be better.
When you say will be better, how do you mean it will be better?
Well, everybody knows in the spring, that's when homes sell.
Yes, but everybody knows but more homes sell in the spring, but more sellers come on the market in the spring too. So that's going to be a push. How do you know it's going to be better? So here's the point I want to make to you, Polina, is that you're betting on something that's going to happen, just like you did the first 120 days. You thought it was going to be fine the last time. So my question is, if 15 other homes sold in the Tanglewood area and yours didn't, it can't be the market. Secondly,
well, what do you think?
Well, again, I've got 30 seconds. Your agent may be giving you the good advice. Maybe you've got the wrong position. Here's what I want you to know. If you wait to get your price, that means the market's going to come up to you. You're going to pay more in Florida. So have you gained anything by doing that?
No.
So I got 6 seconds. So this line of questioning, do you think it would be beneficial if you and your husband were together where we could meet to find out what your next move should be? So I don't know. That's my shot at it.
I guess we would like to find out what you could do differently for us rather than our agent.
Now my words may not have meant anything because I was just doing it on the fly. I'll tell you what I did like. I like the alarm.
Mhm.
I'm going to set my alarm. Now, do you think that's legit? I didn't think that I had to be worried. Now, again, Matt or you, any one of you could have maybe done a better job with the 3 minutes. But I did my best to land some punches to at least get her and her husband together. Now, maybe I didn't do a good job, but I think the issue is some people may say a minute. Okay, I'm going to set my phone alarm for 1 minute. Can I have 60 seconds to ask you a couple questions? I think it's pretty strong. Try it and see if you like it. Next. Come on, Sherry. Come on. Who's got it? Michelle? Al, Greg. Come on, buddy.
Denny, getting back to the interest rate situation we talked about earlier. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, anyways, a year ago, interest rates were up around 7%. They've already dropped in the 6% range. So we're already down 1%. And of course, there's different markets across the country, but it hasn't fluctuated the market that much. The market hasn't picked up that much over last year.
You're in the Phoenix area, right?
Yep.
Well, one of my points, I'm going to give you a couple of my points that I'm going to be thinking about for my big speech coming up. Now, again, I'm talking about Southwest Florida, but some of this applies to you. Number one, perspective. Just what I was talking about made me think of this perspective. Interest rates right now are down about a full point, maybe not quite, but they were at 7.56, 7, 8, maybe 2 years ago, but they're down about a point. The thing I want you to think about moving forward no matter where you are, the housing market rises and falls on affordability. So what the national trends are, and again, the national trends, I listen to different sources, but I believe this. Gary Keller talks about the 4% trend line. Nationally, I think the market is going to be down a couple of percent, and you people in the Northeast is still seeing upward pressure. I think you're going to see it flatten. So the market in general is probably going to be, from a price standpoint, flat or down a point or two. Nothing buy one, get one free. That's number one. Number two. Now, I'm not going to apologize for stating a fact, but I'm not trying to be political. The guy on Shark Tank, and there's a lot of people I listen to, and I let it go one ear and out the other, but Kevin O'Leary, or what's his name?
O'Leary.
Leary
Kevin,
just did a video on the 5 states you should not buy a home in. But he gives some pretty good data. Those 5 states are Minnesota, New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and California. Now, I know they happen to be blue states, but again, he goes into the fact that, again, he's making a projection. Other than California, 4 of the 5 states are feeder markets for Florida. And he doesn't get into politics. He gets into fiscal policy, meaning they've got some economic problems there. For example, with taxation, look what happens in Manhattan or in New York, or with the mayor, and unfunded liabilities. They're going to have some budget issues. Taxes are going to go up, which means people that have money are going to leave, which makes taxes go up more. So if you are in those markets, you should know that is an opinion out there. You should follow it. If you benefit from those markets, like we do in Florida, you should know is that I think, for example, although Florida market is a buyer's market, I can tell you one thing. And I think that probably Denver, Phoenix, although you have a state income tax, Arizona is a popular market. We do not have a demand problem. We've got an affordability problem.
Mm-hmm.
Interest rates, insurance, you're talking about our prices are up 70%. However, there's states out there that have a demand problem. People don't want to live there anymore. So if you're an agent in that state, you should be aware of that. So
Denny, another point is that builders normally set a trend, and overall building, the number of units being built is actually decreasing.
yes,
I know here in Phoenix, permits are way down. So the builders aren't very optimistic as far as what's going to take place over the next 90 to 180 days. So what do you tell a consumer that is anticipating that, market's going to pick up, rates are going to drop, when the builders aren't seeing it?
well, builders hire a lot of smart people to decide, how many things homes you should put in the ground. The other report that I heard ties in with that too, Al, is the fact that we've always talked about on role play. If the interest rates drop, what happens? Buyers come into the market, will raise prices. This
Correct.
economist had a different take on that. And it deals with what Al's saying. There is a housing shortage out there right now. Builders are not building fast enough for the housing demand. So put this in your pipe and puff on it if you want to. But if interest rates go down, demand for housing will increase, and builders will start ramping up building homes too.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be, and then we've got a lot of people in our marketplace that aren't even on the market right now because they're not going to get what they want for their house. So it may equalize if rates drop. Now, we've already had discussions. The magic number was 6%. It's a cup of coffee, right? We've already had that. This economist went on to say that the magic number is probably 5.5. I don't know. I don't make predictions. I know Trump is working on a lot of different things. He's not happy with the Fed, and he does a lot of things to try to stimulate the market. And there's some positive things out there, regardless of your political leaning. But 5.5 seems to be a stretch for me.
Well, 5.5 has been working for the builders. Builders have not necessarily dropped the price of their homes, but they're buying interest rates down into that range to get rid of existing inventory. They're also, giving other incentives like upgrading appliances, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the position they've been taking, and it's worked. I mean, they have reduced their inventories.
Well, you know, sellers can do that too. They have 60 to 70% equity growth since 2019. All you have to do is figure out what the buy down costs and give the buyers that money. They could do the same thing. But I find that sellers are emotional where builders are transactional.
Correct.
So I don't want to get into the weeds on that. That stuff is too smart for me to talk about. Before we go, well, how can I add value to you before we go? Did you hear anything today that was worth your time of 60 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah, I like the try to get rid of that confirmation bias. I think that was huge when you're asking questions, taking your perspective off someone else's potential.
Yeah, I was a big time guilty of that. I have to watch that. All right. Well, thanks for being on the first one of the year. This is my best mastery call so far this year.
Great call.
Thank
All
you.
right. Love you, man. You guys be careful. Bye.
Bye.